Okay, so welcome to our team call. We are obviously off schedule this week. It is Wednesday, March 7th, I think. I was out of town all last week, and so Monday night and last night was just crazy. So we had to reschedule, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm glad that it worked out. Before we get into tonight's content, I wanted to kind of give you a couple announcements. Something that I really intend to do before every team call, but something that I always forget to do is the announcement. So this is typically just stuff that I've pulled from the National Wake Up Call, which hopefully you're listening to every Monday morning, or at least listening to the recording back. And then also in Coach Breaking News in your back office. So the first thing is that summit tickets are on sale through the end of March. So if you buy a ticket at Summit, you're going to pay, I think it's like $295 for one ticket. So almost $300. This month, today, well, the first of the month through the 31st, March 31st, tickets are $155. So you're saving $140. So I guess, yeah, the original price of tickets is $295. So if you have not earned or bought your ticket to Summit, I would say that now would be the time. Also, keep in mind that once you purchase your Summit ticket, you will get an email with an invitation to join Carl's exclusive 1x3x5 group, Success Club group. The other announcement is that the Daily Sunshine pack is on promotion this month. It's $99.95. They're calling it a March spring price break. You also get $30 off of a full-size Daily Sunshine order and monthly subscriptions. You can check out FAQ 3435 for that one. Something I'm really excited about is our beach bars that are going to be launching on April 7th. So that's FAQ 9754. I think there's going to be two flavors. I can't think of the flavors right now. One is like cherry, and then there's another one. And then the last one, and probably the most exciting one for me, is the Coach Sampler Pack that we now have available. It includes literally a sample from like every part of our performance line in Shakeology, so you get to customize that, and it's $74.95. So I posted something in our team page yesterday about kind of how you can use that Coach Sampler Pack to either give samples out to current customers and clients and coaches, or prospective customers, clients, and coaches, or just use it for your own personal benefit to kind of try out a couple of our products so that you're better able to promote them. So keep that in mind. Okay, so now into tonight's content. So I titled this team call How to Prioritize Your Business, and then as I was creating kind of my little outline with my notes for the content that I really wanted to cover, I realized that I should have probably called it reasons why you're telling yourself you can't do this business. Like top, I don't know how many bullet points I have, like 8, yeah, or 9. 9 reasons why you can't do this business is what I wanted to really kind of shift it and call it. But I kind of tweaked how I'm going to talk about it to fit the how to prioritize your business concept. So I'm going to kind of go through, like I said, 9 kind of specific things that I think we are either telling ourselves or that we're practicing in our daily habits of running this business that are forcing you to not move your business forward and to not make your business a priority. Now, before I go into the content specifically, I just want to preface this with, I don't want these 9 points to come across as like me being mean or rude. They're just, I oftentimes try to think about things that encouraged me and motivated me to move my business forward. And those are the things that I try to post on our team page and share on our team calls and share with my personally sponsored coaches. And whenever I was thinking about what I wanted this week's content to be about, I wanted to think about the one, I feel like a lot of coaches on our team are kind of in this spot right now, a spot that I'm hopeful tonight's content will kind of help you get out of. And so I wanted to think back to a really pivotal moment in my business that I felt like, whether it was a conversation I had or a training I watched or whatever the case may be, that really kind of got me from the point of wanting to quit the business, which was probably around May of 2017, last year, to wanting to go all in and quit my full-time job, because that transition happened for me within the matter of like 4 weeks. I went from just wanting to quit and give up because I couldn't get it figured out and I was working so hard, nothing was working, to just wanting to go all in. And so I was thinking back to that moment, and I was thinking about what I felt like was really the pivotal moment for me. And some of you have probably heard this story. I probably shared this with you before, but it was a conversation that I had with one of the top coaches in the network. I think she's sitting at like number 26 right now. Her name is Danielle Natoni. And she, even though we are not on the same team, she's not anywhere near our upline, but she was just a friend of mine. She offered to hop on like a 30-minute call with me and do some reflecting and some brainstorming and some thinking, and she really wanted to help me be successful in this business. And so I thought back to that conversation, and I thought about some of the things that we talked about. And if you follow Danielle Natodi on social media, especially Instagram, and watch her stories, you will know that she is very like forward, I guess is a good way to put it. She speaks her mind, she tells you like it is, but I connect to that because whenever I needed somebody to have that conversation with me the most, she was the one that had that conversation with me. So all of that to say, I just want you to take this as maybe tough love. If this is what needs to be spoken to you, you may not be in this place right now where this content is what you need to hear, but if this is the content that you need to hear, I want you to take it as tough love, and I want you to take it as me just really wanting to help you move your business forward and force you to be honest with yourself about your business and how you're making it a priority. So all of that being said, I'm going to go over kind of 9 points. So I hope you have out a pen and piece of paper or like an iPad or something that you can write these down, because I feel like they're pretty solid points that you are going to be able to at least connect to one of them. So the first one is going to be, so let me back up for a second. These are things that you need to be doing or things that you need to stop doing in order to move your business forward and make it a priority. Number 1, stop blaming your upline. I'm really hopeful that nobody on this call or that's listening to this recording has that issue, because I try really hard to be a really present upline if I am your upline. However, this was something that I severely struggled with in the beginning, because I don't have an upline. I had nobody to teach me about the business, nobody to teach me how to invite, nobody to push me on days where I just wanted to give up. I didn't have that. And so for months after I signed up to coach, I found myself doing the infamous, like watching all the other successful coaches' stories and watching them on team calls and thinking like, well, if I had that, I could do this business too. And that was my scapegoat in convincing myself that I just could never make this business work because I didn't have an upline. Something that kind of stuck to me that forced me to kind of get over this hurdle was this sentence. And I want you to write this sentence down. I will help, period. Put a period there. I will help, period. Next sentence, you build your business. I will help, period. You build your business. Now I want you to write this sentence down. I will help you build your business. One sentence. There is a big, big, big difference between those two sentences, right? The responsibility of your upline is to help, but this is your business and you have to build it. And I heard a top coach say that, and she was very affirmative with the fact that you needed to write this down and you needed to put that period and like a Sharpie marker so that you can separate those two sentences to remind yourself that this is your business and you have to build it. Your upline is just there to, of course, help you, guide you, support you, celebrate your successes, and you should seek them out for support and celebration and guidance and mentorship, but this is your business. I kind of think of it as like a parent-child relationship, even though I'm not a parent. I feel like since I'm a child, it's like I still get it. Whenever your child turns 18, you are going to want to be able to like send them on their way, right? You're going to be there for them as they try to figure out this adulting thing, and they're going to lean on you for support and for guidance and for mentorship. But they're probably, hopefully, not going to call you every single day, complaining about things and making you worry because they can't figure things out on their own. That's kind of like you and your upline, parent to child, upline to you. You should want to grow away from your upline in the sense that you should be working your business in a way that doesn't force you to rely on them for everything. Like I said, support, guidance, mentorship, and celebration. Your upline, and here's the thing, here's why you should want that sort of progression to happen. Your upline cannot press play for you. Your upline cannot drink your Shakeology for you. Your upline, like the vital parts of this business, they can't do for you. And if you're not doing those things, your business isn't going to move forward. So I want you to just remember that you are an independent Beachbody coach. If you wanted somebody to tell you what to do on a daily basis, then you wouldn't be an entrepreneur. Now, if that's not kind of the mindset space that you're in and you don't want to be an entrepreneur, that's totally fine. But if your goal is to make a business out of this, and if that's what you keep telling yourself, but this is an excuse that you keep giving yourself, then like if you tell yourself, I want to walk across that stage at Summit, well, then you have to own your business, right? You have to act like an entrepreneur. And entrepreneurs are not told what to do on a daily basis. So that's point one. Stop blaming your upline. Point two, probably one that most of you will be able to connect with more, and it is time. You have to make time. Here's the thing. You've heard this before. Everybody has the same number of hours in the day. And if anybody understands what being busy is, it's me. I get it. You are probably the biggest or the busiest person that you know, right? Whether you have kids, you work a full-time job, you're in grad school, you're a wife, you volunteer, you're PTA, like whatever. I get it. You are probably the busiest person that you know. The reality of the situation is this. If you want it, and that's the kicker, if you want it, you will find pockets of time in your schedule. So I really want you to do some deep thinking about what is a priority. I think, especially for newer coaches on our team who don't kind of know like my backstory and my history, it's really easy to look at somebody who's a full-time coach and say, oh, well, of course their business is growing. They work this business full-time. And I just want to say like, whoa, pump the brakes. Because whenever I started this business up until literally like 8 weeks ago, I worked a full-time job. I volunteered in my community because I was a title holder as Miss Oklahoma. I'm still currently a full-time PhD student. I'm a wife. Like, I get it. I was and still am super busy. But you just have to decide if it's a priority or not. You can find pockets of time throughout the course of your day. Talk to any top coach in the network. I can guarantee you 9 out of 10 of them were working a full-time, if not 2 or 3 part-time jobs while they, grew their business. And those obligations and the lack of time freedom were the things that pushed those coaches forward to wake up earlier, to go to bed later, to sacrifice time, to work through your lunch break, to not watch your favorite show on Tuesday night, but instead like record it and watch it later and instead work. It's just a matter of if it's a priority or not. Put your phone on airplane mode and just get laser focused. You can do it. That's number 2, make time. Number 3, this one's kind of controversial depending on what coach you're talking to, but I'm just going to kind of give you my perspective on the topic. And that is, stop with the salesperson mentality fear. Stop being fearful that you're just not a salesperson. So like this business is just too hard because you can't sell things. Well, here's the thing. I'm not a salesperson either, and I still hit Success Club 30 last month. You don't have to have a degree in marketing. You don't have to have a degree in sales. I want you to think about selling in a different way, right? I want you to think about the fact that literally everything in life is a sale, right? Let's say that your kids come in the living room and it's past their bedtime and you're like, go get your butt in bed. It's time to go to sleep. And they're like, oh, just 30 more minutes. And you're like, okay, fine, whatever. Like, just get out of here. You can have 30 more minutes. Well, they just sold you, right? Like they totally just sold you on giving them 30 more minutes to stay up late. Or think about the fact that when you go to the grocery store, all of the gluten-free, all organic, whatever options are right at eye level because they are marketing those products to you and that's what you end up buying. Well, guess what? You just got sold. So everything in life is a sale. But I want you to think about this question. What would have happened if you wouldn't have been sold on Beachbody? Like what happened, where would your life be? Health-wise, business-wise, whatever, depending on where you're at in your journey, where would you be at right now if Beth Isabel, or if Kyla, or if Stephanie, or if Julie, or if Mallory, or whoever did not send you that message on Instagram or Facebook and say, hey, I'm doing this thing. I really want you to be in my group. Like it has totally changed my life. Where would your health and fitness and or your business, depending on where you're at, be if somebody didn't ask you to join them? It probably would look a lot different than it would today. I know for me personally, total game changer. I wrote a blog about it today about just how much pressing play from my living room has changed my life. So you do sell, S-E-L-L. You do sell, but you have to get into it, right? You have to stop with this salesperson mentality and recognize that you are selling something technically. Get in it, own it. But you're selling health and fitness. You're selling a lifestyle change. You're selling like literally impact, positive impact and change. You're selling that to somebody's life. You will always and often hear this phrase in trainings and even in the National Wake Up Call. We don't sell, we share. We don't sell, we tell. And that is so true, right? Because you lead with your story and you lead with what you do with this lifestyle. Hopefully nobody here or on our team just goes to their back office and copies and pastes graphics on their social media. You don't do that, right? Because although your intention is to sell a challenge pack and get somebody into your boot camp, you share your story, right? And that is how you inspire and motivate other people to want to join you. I have never, not one time that I can think of, promoted the cost of what I'm selling. I promote that I press play from my living room or my home gym, that I can get a workout done in 30 minutes or less and stay in the best shape of my life, that I have a nutrition plan that taught me, how to control my portions, and that this yellow unicorn juice that I drink, like seriously has changed my life. Those are the things that you're sharing. And that is how you share your story. Think about this. Think about if, let's say that I go to a really great new restaurant in town and you and I are neighbors and I come home and you're like, hey, how's that restaurant? And I just go on and I rave about how good it was. And I'm like, you totally have to go. They have the best chicken pasta, like best Italian food restaurant in town. You seriously have to go. Is the first thing you're going to think like, oh my God, I wonder if she's getting paid to tell me that? No, you're going to be like, hey, husband, whatever, spouse, we need to go try out that restaurant because Beth said it was really good. It's the same kind of concept. You are sharing a really amazing thing that is working for you and that has changed your life. And why is it that just because now you're benefiting from it financially, like why does that have to change? You know what I mean? I guarantee you before you signed up to be a coach, if you were in a boot camp or an accountability group and you were doing our programs, somebody probably asked you, what are you doing? Like you look great, or you have so much energy, or like, I see you're working out now. What is that thing that you're doing? You probably were like, oh yeah, it's so great. Like I'm doing this thing called 21 Day Fix and I'm following this meal plan. I'm in this online accountability group and the women are so great. And you probably felt pretty comfortable sharing that with people. But then the moment that you became a coach and you actively started sharing your story instead of waiting for people to ask you, and you're getting a paycheck from it, it instantly becomes weird. And you're like, oh, I'm not good at selling things. You're sharing your story, right? Like when you go to the doctor, you have to pay them for their service, right? It's no different. So I don't want you to feel bad about benefiting financially from this opportunity when you're literally doing what you would do anyways, and that is sharing your story. So that is kind of my mentality and approach to the whole selling fear, because I can tell you that's probably 3 out of 5 new coaches that join our team, as far as my personally sponsored coaches are concerned, one of their biggest fears, whether they sign or not, is that they're not good at selling stuff. And so that's the conversation that I have with them. So I just want you to kind of think about that. The fourth point that I wanted to make is to stop blaming your lack of growth on your small social media following. Here's the thing. You have to build trust on your social media. Building trust takes time and it takes consistency. I get that. I am in the trenches right there trying to build my social media following, because without that trust, people aren't going to want to do what you're doing. However, in the meantime, every single person on this planet has a small circle that you should be working on influencing, right? These people, whether it's friends or families or like your kids' teachers or like whatever, acquaintances, they already know, like, and trust you. Start there while you work on building trust on social media. So I'm going to say that again. Work with your small inner circle, the 120 friends that you have on Facebook, or the people in your church group, or whatever, like people that you know, real relationships that you have where people know, like, and trust you. Work on influencing those people while you stay consistent with building trust on social media. I want you to use the memory jogger in your back office. That's what it's for. If you have no idea what a memory jogger is, go into your back office and go under training and pull the memory jogger. It will force you to think about the people that sitting here, you're probably thinking, well, I don't even know that many people to begin with. Well, if you pull out that memory jogger and allow it to trigger you thinking about your smaller circle of influence, I can promise you it will help. And another thing about social media is that you have to suck at it in order to get better. You have to suck at it in order to get better. It takes time for you to figure out who your tribe is and who your audience is and who you want to speak to and who you want to work with. And then once you even figure that out, they like to call it your avatar. Once you figure that out, you have to figure out what they want from you. What kind of content do they want from you? What sort of value do they want from you? And I oftentimes joke about the fact that I will spend 20 minutes crafting this post that I just put my whole heart into, and that is just like something that I just feel like I need to share with everybody, and nobody will care about it, and it'll get like 2 likes and no comments, and then I post a picture of like my dog or something that I put no effort into, and like that's what people care about. So obviously I'm still figuring it out too, but you have to suck at it in order to get better. So just keep that in mind and don't use that as an excuse. Number 5, another one that I hear so very often, is you have to stop believing that you're not fit enough. A lot of my challengers or customers who sit in on a Coach Sneak Peek will say, this sounds amazing, the community sounds great, this sounds like an incredible opportunity, but I just want to wait until I have a transformation. What? Why? I can promise you, and Danielle Natoni will tell you this, it is harder for a fit person, like a super fit, idealistically perfectly fit person who doesn't have a before and after photo, to be relatable. Think about that. If you follow somebody on Instagram who is just like your idea of what being perfectly fit means versus somebody that you follow who is sharing their journey and who you're watching them transform inside and out because of their posts. I'm not just talking about like a side-by-side I've lost 10 pounds transformation photo. I'm talking about your mindset and your perspective and your positivity and your physical transformation. If you watch somebody go through that journey, you're probably going to be definitely, number one, you're going to relate to them more and you're going to be more inspired by them. So you're literally missing the biggest opportunity of your life by thinking that you have to wait until you have some big transformation before you start growing and building this business. Share your journey, because that is what people will want to be a part of. They're going to want to be a part of your journey because they're going to see that transformation and they're going to want that in their lives too. So I want to challenge you to start at the start of your journey. You're ready right now with the skin that you're in. It's the same negative self-talk, the same lack of confidence that you're experiencing and that you're working on, muddling through and getting better at. That is what the coaches and the customers that you're going to be attracting are going to need help with, AKA they're going to need you where you're at and in the skin that you're in. So I just want to encourage you to kind of shift your mindset from thinking that you have to have some big transformation or be perfectly fit in order to help other people, because that's not the case and that's not what's relatable. I always get asked from coaches on our team specifically, how do you stay so consistent with your business? Once I shifted my mind, and here's the answer. Once I shifted my mindset from today wasn't perfect, so I'm not going to share that. Once I shifted my mindset from that to thinking about this as like people are expecting me to show up, right? Whether they are or not, that was my mentality. That is my mentality. You have to pretend, whether it's true or not, that people are sitting there, going to your page every day, needing the extra motivation, needing the inspiration, whether it's to get a workout done or whether it's to just get out of some funk that they're in. And so I want to encourage you to change your mindset to that. Think of showing up every day and staying consistent in your health and fitness journey, because that is the top priority of your business, is focusing on your own journey. and growing your business, I want you to think about those things as expectations from other people. Because not only is it going to force you to get your workout done and stay on top of your nutrition and drink your Shakeology, because that's part of your business and your top priority, but you're going to continue being consistent in sharing that journey because people are expecting you to show up. Number 6, stop convincing yourself that you've tried everything. And this kind of, for me, goes back to the first bullet point that I talked about blaming your upline. This was probably the second one for me. I just kept saying, and that was like whenever I hopped on the phone with Danielle Natoni almost a year ago, and she's like, okay, tell me what's up. And I was like, I've done everything. Like, I post and I invite and I do this and that, and nothing's working, and I just can't do this. She went to my social media page and she said, first question, do you do our programs from start to finish? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And she said, well, what program are you doing? And I said, I'm on day 42 of Body Beast. And she was like, how the hell am I supposed to know that if I go to your social media page? You have not posted one time, what day of what program of like what the heck you're doing. She's like, I would have no idea as some random follower who came to your page as to what you were doing. And that was like a total wake up call, because that started triggering things like, well, maybe I'm not, being really efficient in my power hour. And maybe I am just scrolling through social media and throwing a couple likes out there. That's not working your business. I wasn't trying everything, but I had convinced myself that I was. I want you to think about these things. Have you listened to every single national wake up call? Have you showed up and listened to every single team call? Have you read every single personal development book that's out there? Have you taken every online course that's offered? Have you talked to every single person that you know? Have you gone to every single Beachbody event? Have you gone through all of those hundreds of trainings in your back office? I can guarantee you, I would put my life on it that you just said no to one of those things. And if you said yes, then I'm going to call BS, because I don't believe it. I haven't even done that. And I don't know of any coach that has. There's always something new for you to try. When you've convinced yourself that you've done everything there is to do to work this business, or to grow your team, or to hit Success Club 10 or whatever, when you've convinced yourself that that's where you're at, then you've given up. You've already given up. So you definitely need to change your mentality and be honest, brutally honest with yourself about exactly the effort that you're putting in and exactly what you're trying. Don't be afraid to try new things, right? Like these coach sneak peeks that we run, guess what? Some random coach came up with the idea like, hey, maybe we should do like this little sneak peek thing so that people can kind of see what coaching is all about. That was an idea that obviously works, because sneak peeks are a really successful part of recruiting. If there's something you want to try, just do it. If it doesn't work, then oh well. If it sucks, then oh well. But if what you're doing is not working, you need to try something new. Number 7, we have 3 more. Number 7, and this one probably comes off as like a little jerkish, but it's true. So I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Because this is something else that we talked about in that conversation that I had almost a year ago that really kind of like kicked me in the ass. You have to shift your mentality from just wanting to help people. A lot of times coaches will say, and I'll say, here's the thing, what do you really want out of this business? And they'll say, I just want to help people. I don't care about growing my business. I just want to help people. Well, here's the thing. Obviously, we want to help people, right? But I want you to think about this. Who helps more people? A, the person who just wants to help people, or B, the coach that's grown a really big successful business. Which one of those 2 people is truly helping more people? It's going to be the coach that has grown a successful business. The bigger your business, the more people you're helping. So if you really just wanted to help people, you would get out of your own way and stop using that as an excuse to not build a big business. Number 8, you have to get over the fact that your spouse or that your family doesn't support you. Do you know how many people thought and still do think that I'm having some midlife crisis because I quit this really great job at the University of Oklahoma where I'm a full-time PhD student working on this amazing career? I quit that. I didn't quit school. I'm still in school. But I quit that full-time job to do this thing that nobody gets. Do you know how many people that are really close to me, like my parents and other people that are really close to me, thought and still think that I'm going through like a midlife crisis? But guess what? I don't care. You know why I don't care? Here's why. Because maybe they just need proof, right? Whether we're talking about your spouse or we're talking about extended family or whatever, and you're really kind of getting down on yourself and getting discouraged because they're not supporting you and you're using that as an excuse to not move your business forward, I want you to think about this. Maybe they just need proof, right? Maybe you have a history or a rap sheet with trying out MLMs, and like maybe you sold lip syncs, and maybe you sold unique, and maybe you tried this other kind of shake thing or this wrap thing, and you just have like this history of moving from one thing to the next. Maybe you just need to prove them wrong that this is different. Maybe they need this and they don't even know it, and you need to set the example for them. Maybe they had a bad experience with something similar to this, or maybe they're scared of your change and how that change will affect them, right? Like, oh, I'm just thinking of this from like a husband's perspective. Like, oh my gosh, she's getting in really great shape and she's starting to really love herself and she's like having all this financial success. And like, what if I'm not good enough anymore? Like, that's just an example. But maybe you just need to prove them wrong. And I oftentimes in some of our one-on-one calls, I will tell you guys, like, you need to have that mentality, right? Like, have the mentality that your back's against the wall and you're going to prove them wrong. And I tell myself that as part of like my daily affirmations every single morning, like, just watch me, like watch what I'm about to do. And then I put my head down and I work. I want you to really focus on not nagging those people in your life that you need support from. Just lead by example, just like in your challenge groups, right? You and I both know that you cannot like drag your challengers or drag your coaches along. You can't make them work the business. You can't make your challengers have results and get results and do personal development while they're learning how to get healthy. Like, you can't make them do those things. It's the same kind of thing in this situation, right? Just lead by example until they decide to join you. Surround yourself with people who lift you up. And if things still aren't changing, then guess what? Do more personal development because you really need to focus on ensuring that your mindset stays positive so that you can keep pushing forward in this business when times get hard. I always like to tell people about, or like in my challenge groups or even in, like some of our coaches, whenever I see one of my challengers, like husbands, doing the workouts with them, or, maybe their family is starting to adapt to like eating a little bit cleaner, it is seriously so exciting. And it's exciting for me because that was kind of like the situation that I was in and that I am in. It took me doing our programs for a year and a half almost before my husband decided that he wanted to do a workout with me. Now, sure, every now and then, like once every 6 months, I'd be like, hey, why don't you do this workout with me? And of course, he either would or he wouldn't. But after just watching me be consistent and watching how much I had changed for the better, he was like, hey, I think it's time that I start like maybe not doing the exact workout that I was doing, but his health and fitness is a priority now because he just watched what I was doing. So get over the fact that you don't have enough support because you are the only support that you need, and maybe you just need to prove them wrong. The last point that I want to talk about really quick before we hop off is probably the most important one, right? Something that I think all of these 8 points before this kind of touch on, and that is to take ownership. Extreme ownership, because this business is on you. If you want your business to grow, it will grow. Period. In a black Sharpie marker. If you want it to grow, it will grow. I am not any more special or talented than you. No top coach is any more special or talented than you or than me. You can do this business bigger and better than they can. I promise you that. And I can promise you that by me telling myself that every single day. I will watch a top coach's Instagram stories, and sometimes, I'm just going to be honest here, if I don't relate to them, I'm like, there's no reason why I can't do this. Like, seriously, if I am honest with myself and if I take ownership over this business and if I really want this, it will happen, period. The only thing that all of those top coaches have in common is that they just started. They just started. And I want to kind of wrap this up by saying this. You don't have to grow a business as big as me or as big as any other coach. But if you claim that you want to, you have every single thing inside of you to do so, and resource to do so. So I want to make that really clear. I don't want, like, if you're a hobby coach who just wants like to buy your groceries every month, then this will speak to you in a different way. But if you are a coach on our team who wants a big business and who wants freedom and who wants to walk across the stage at Summit and who wants X, Y, and Z, if you're claiming that that's what you want, you have every single thing inside of you to do so. Every single thing. I'm going to recap those 9 points super quick and then we'll hop off. Number 1, stop blaming your upline. This is your business. Number 2, make time. If it's a priority, you will find time. Number 3, stop with the salesperson mentality fear. Number 4, stop blaming your small social media following. Number 5, stop believing that you're not fit enough and that you have to have a transformation. Number 6, stop convincing yourself that you've tried everything. Number 7, shift your mentality from just wanting to help people and realize that the bigger your business, the more people you will help. Number 8, get over the fact that your spouse or family don't support you. And number 9, take extreme ownership over the fact that this is your business. Take ownership. I think that is all I had. We're almost on track, 8:36. So I am going to post this recording in our team page, and it'll be on YouTube too. So if you guys want to check it out later to recap those points. Otherwise, I hope that this was a little bit helpful. Like I said, I just really tried to kind of think about the moments and the conversations and the things throughout the course of me growing my own business that have kind of worked for me, and I pay attention to things that coaches on our team are struggling with, and that is really what I try to kind of give to you guys, whether it's just in like a short live video on our page or here on our team call. So hopefully it was a little helpful. I hope you all have a great Wednesday evening, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.